Whether you watched TennoCon or attended it in person, you'll have acquired the brand new Gotva Prime. This is an unusual weapon, a prime that cannot be obtained from relics and doesn't presently have a standard version in the game. So what does it actually do? I'm Nick Engineer, let's solve a practical problem. In case you hadn't figured it out, I'm back from TennoCon. It was a wonderful experience, and I go into more detail in my recent livestream, the replay for which is on my Extras channel. I'll pop a link to that in the video description. But this video isn't me talking about TennoCon, it's about the Gotva Prime Assault Rifle. In terms of handling, it's about as standard as it gets. It fires good old bullets in a standard automatic fashion, and reloads much like any other normal weapon. For something classically held by the elite Grineer, it certainly meets their need for something simple and reliable. The quirk is that Gotva Prime, after inflicting a status effect, has a chance for the next hit to deal a tier 3 critical hit, a red crit. This will override your own critical chance if it triggers, applying your critical bonus 3 times over. As Gotva Prime comes with a base 2.5 times critical multiplier, you can get a hefty critical bonus as a result. The problem with this quirk is that it's unreliable. DE state that the chance of a status effect hit turning the next hit into a red crit is 15%. From my own testing of 1,680 shots that each procced a status effect, only 226 of them led to a red crit on the next hit, putting the measured value at 13.5%. My result is within 2 standard deviations of the expected result, so I got unlucky in testing, but it's not unreasonably so. With 100% status chance, you'd have the maximum chance of triggering this effect, making 15% of hits into red crits. On its own, that means a 15% chance of applying the critical bonus of the weapon 3 times over, comparable to increasing the critical chance by 45 points. The difficulty, of course, is in getting to that status chance to unlock the full bonus. Gotva Prime starts with a 27% status chance, so every plus 100% status chance bonus means an extra 27 points of status chance, which in turn means 4.05 points of red crit chance, or the same as a 12.15 point critical chance increase if you had no critical chance at all. This is less effective in reality than a 50% critical chance mod. Of course, you do also get the bonus of actually applying more status effects, balancing this out a bit. All this to say that the Gotva Prime quirk is one which can add noticeable power, but it has limits. You can't ignore the critical chance of the weapon itself, nor can you overly rely on converting the status effects into critical hits, yet nor should you ignore the quirk entirely. The Gotva Prime is securely a hybrid weapon, needing status chance, critical chance, and critical damage. In terms of its actual output then, it's surprisingly close to weapons like the Tenora Prime. The Tenora is also a hybrid statted weapon with a puncture weighting and a veritable bullet hose. It lacks the critical quirk, but instead has split impact, puncture, and slash, making it a better candidate for galvanized aptitude, and a charge shot for a single powerful strike. Lots of bullets, a quirk, and otherwise a standard enough weapon, that should give you an idea as to how powerful Gotva really is. With this all in mind, the Gotva Prime works just fine with a very standard hybrid build. It isn't a very high damage weapon, meaning that without some kind of defense strip, you may struggle to gain those crucial initial kills without serration. With a defense strip, or if you're just feeling confident, you can use Prime Shred in its place. Beyond that, you should use a relatively basic setup of Galvanized Chamber, Critical Delay, Vital Sense, Bladed Rounds, and 3 60/60 elemental mods. Either use Viral Heat for an all-rounder, Corrosive Heat for more power against Acolytes and on Deimos, or Magnetic Toxin for a corpus-specific approach. With this critical chance, you can also make use of Hunter Munitions in a viral setup, though only if you're not using a defense strip ability. Naturally, if you don't have some of these mods, their lesser counterparts like Split Chamber, Shred, and Point Strike will make for lesser replacements. If you do not have access to Steel Path Arcanes like Primary Merciless, then definitely do not drop Serration. Aside from elemental variation, and your preference or access to mods like Prime Shred, there's not a whole lot of fiddling this gun really needs or wants. It's a no-nonsense rifle, and that's really that. There's very little reason to consider going for pure elemental mods over the 60/60s, as the relatively low increase in damage will absolutely not make up for the loss of status effects and subsequent loss in damage. Even swapping out Rime rounds for Prime Cryo rounds, despite it buffing your elemental damage, would throw away status chance and heat priority, which I personally don't feel is helpful to do. When it comes to Gotva, just keep it simple. These videos are made possible by support from community members like you, so join the community over on Patreon. Not only are builds listed there for easier reference, but you can also gain access to the further math behind the scenes that informs these builds. And as always, watch streams, get Gotfa, and fight well, Tedo.